Hello. So, myself Rajendra, and this series I started to explain all the construction related methodologies and the competencies which are required for any construction professional. For that I have started this series, and today's topic we will explain about the risk management. So many, actually this purpose of my channel is to spread the different technologies come up and different processes which has been set already by a lot of experts in project managements, cost managements, because I am a cost management expert. So I thought this series should be on this. Through my channel I should explain the procedures and methodologies involved in construction, related to commercial, related to a project management. Because I am expert, 14 years I have experience, 15 years most experience in cost management, project managements and different companies. So it is better to spread a knowledge what I have gained and what are the competencies are required for an expert. That's why I started these videos. Yes, through my channel also I will definitely spread different concepts which is evolving day by day. So today topic is risk management, and if you are doing or you are on the journey to finish RICS status, suppose APC point of view also, this competency is very important. So today topic is a risk management. So we will actually discuss about generally what is this risk management. So risk, you know what is a risk. Risk is nothing but it is an unpredicted any incident. It may be incident, it may be any kind of thing that is unexpected. So suppose in our life also risk is common, whether it is maybe a financial risk, it may be health risk, it may be any kind of other risk. There are a lot of risks involved, right? In personal life also, if you see. So if any construction project, if you are carrying out, you are started from inception to completion, there may be a lot of risks in whole life cycle of project. We have to face risk. We know the risk may occur anytime, and because of that it's very important to understand the risk management. What are the processes involved to manage the risk, and what kind of risk involved in our projects, so that we can address this risk and we can tackle it in a structured way. So what are the processes set, standard process set for risk management, that we are going to discuss. So one by one we'll finish different competencies involved in RICS APC point of view also. It will be helpful, and as a career point of view it will be helpful for those professionals who work in project managements, cost managements. So this knowledge will be enhance at least your professional growth, and that's why I'm discussing this in front of you. So first important point is, what is a risk? As I already told, risk is an unexpected event. It cannot be predicted. So next, about a risk, if you see, then it is an uncertain event or condition that if it occurs, if risk will have some impact. Because of the risk management we are learning, right? Because it is impacting, it is a disturbing. If any project, will be a risk, suppose natural calamities in that area, that will occur. We will come to know that this is a risk. So there will be impact, some impact, or project will get delay. Project property will damage because of this natural calamities. For that, we need to understand what is a positive or negative impact on project objectives. Because project objectives are time, cost, quality, right? We need to finish the project on time. We need to maintain good quality of product in our construction. Whatever we are constructing should be having a good quality with a good technical specification as per the contract. It should complete within a budget. That is our project objectives, so that we can hand over to our client, right? So it will have impact. We need to understand what is the impact, overall impact of that risk which we are going to face. The next is, if you see next is, if you discuss, while almost all risks are seen as a threats, risk gives opportunity also. Some risk may give opportunity also. For example, if any, suppose, natural calamity occurs, right? So sometimes government will going to support you. Additionally, they will going to support you. So we can find an opportunity. There is a proper insurance we have in property. Now incident happened in our project, one of the project. Due to heavy rain, one actually wall collapse. Okay, wall collapse, and what happened? Due to collapse of wall collapse, actually one building is damaged. Building asset is damaged. So we have claim for insurance. We have insurance, proper insurance already we have been taken. So this is actually what exactly, this is a part of risk management. We have opportunity to tackle this problem. Because of that, risk management is important before having any kind of risk indications, how we can mitigate it. Okay. So while managing risk, we try to increase the likelihood of opportunity and decrease the likelihood of threats. Means, what exactly it means? If any opportunity, any risk, if you have any risk identifications, then we need to try to find the possibility of opportunity. We need to increase the possibility of opportunity and decrease the likelihood, means possibility of threats. How we can take maximum benefit? Okay, and how can avoid the threats? That we need to understand. So no project is risk free, as already told. because every project has a certain risk involved. Some projects are outskirts of the cities, so transportation was a much challenging in such projects. So in transportation, if you are each and every material we are transferring from city to project, there may be chance of damages of material during a transit. That is a risk. Any small amount of unexpected event can be risk. So there may be chance of damage of materials. So that risk we need to count. We need to take it into account, and we need to analyze it further. Okay. So this is about the risk. Then next, if you see what is the risk management process, we need to understand how the risk is managed. So before starting any construction or project, we need to prepare the risk management plan. Risk management plan involves all kind of risks which can be occur, and how we are going to tackle it, right? That we need to, all the process strategy we need to set in that documents. So how this risk management plan can be prepared? So first of all, we need to identify risk during a project. We need to identify the project. What are the projects? What are the risks which can be come? Because the risk cannot be ignored. We cannot ignore it. Okay. We need to identify the risk, and we need to prepare a risk register. Risk register is a register where we actually enter all kind of risks which we are going to involve. Okay. So this is about the risk management processes. In that, we need to first of all identify the risk. We may identify risk means we maintain a risk register where all the risks we write down in the register, and that is a procedure, actually standard process. If you want to follow the risk management, you need to follow the standard process to get a negative impact on your projects if any risk occur. So after identifying risks, we have to maintain risk register. Then after that, identifying, we have to analyze it. So analysis we need to do about that risk. There are two types of methodologies by analyzing actually risk. One is a quantitative and second is a qualitative. So we'll discuss in details next. So first of all, we will understand the structure of risk management process. So one is a qualitative and second is a quantitative risk management analysis. In qualitative, actually what will happen, we understand the likelihood, possibility of any risk. Likelihood, what will be the quality of that risk? What will be the impact of that risk? Okay. But in quantitative, actually we understand the numerical calculations so that we'll understand how much impact over a project from that risk. That we'll explain this later. Okay. So after that, actually after doing analysis, if you are doing analysis of the risk, then we need to prepare the responses. What are the responses? Plan risk responses. What will be our action if you risk occur? That we need to prepare, and after all the responses we have prepared, we will monitor and control that risk. We will closely monitor each and every how the progress of that risk. What is the status of that risk? Closely monitor and we'll try to control it. That is a major process of risk management. So in this next, if you see, then understanding risk management, how to understand the risk management is risk management exactly is a science, and the process is already developed. So in this risk management, act or practice of dealing with the risk, we need to practice, act or practice dealing with the risk. We should prepare to manage the risk. We should not get a panic if risk occur. So we should have the practice and act while dealing the risk. We should have attitude towards resolving, to give us solutions to any kind of problem or any kind of barrier comes in our project management. Any barrier comes means it is a one kind of risk. Okay. So next is understanding risk and how to manage it through a structured and systematic approach to achieve the project objective. We have to understand the risk and think how we can manage it without compromising objectives. By fulfilling all the objectives of projects, how we can manage it at project levels, that we need to understand. Then processes concerned with the conducting risk management. What are the processes involved? We need to understand while conducting risk management. That processes we need to understand. What is the process? We have to plan, then we have to identify risk, then analyze the risk, quantitative and qualitative methodology. Then next is we have to prepare the responses, and next is we have to monitor and control the risk. This is the process we need to follow while risk management. Any risk in personal level also, if you follow this kind of risk, definitely you are going to be a very good risk manager in your life also. In personal life also, there are a lot of risk occurs, financial risk occurs. So we need to plan, we need to understand the risk, analyze the risk, prepare the responses if any risk occurs, how you are going to act. Yes. Then we need to monitor it, and we need to understand how we can mitigate it. Some risk cannot be mitigated, some risk can be transferred, some risk cannot be transferred, some risk should be accepted. We need to accept the risk sometimes. So risk management involves not only about the mitigation. Sometimes we need to accept and act along with the risk. And sometimes we need to transfer it to someone, distribute among the stakeholders in projects. Otherwise, it will be very difficult to handle by one party, one stakeholders. Okay. So if you see project risk, any project risk is there. So it has an uncertainty, probability and impact. Its probability is nothing but is a qualitative. What is its probability? Likelihood, probability. It's a qualitative analysis. Impact is generally done by Impact is generally done by quantitative analysis. Okay. So if it has a positive impact, then we have to find opportunity. If opportunity, then we'll get a profit. Then profit, then we have to exploit it, enhance it, share it, accept it. Definitely, sometime any risk will have a positive impact. Negative impact is there, then it will be a threat for us. It will be a loss for us. Issue will be there. So we need to avoid it. Sometimes we need to avoid it. Sometimes we need to transfer. Sometimes we need to minimize it. Sometimes we need to accept it. Avoid, transfer, minimize or accept. If we have a negative impact. Okay. So next, if you see, understand risk management point. The outcome of risk management act as an input for considering contingency reserve for scheduling and costing. So any risk management outcome will be input for a contingency reserve. We have always contingency involved, should be there in our project in terms of budget. Contingency budget should be reserved. If any impact, any risk will be there, that can be covered under the contingency reserve. So one risk is identified, analyzed, it becomes a management problem. We have to analyze it, risk, identify, analyze, then we need to keep in front of management. Then management has to tackle it, right? So our job, major job at the project level will be identify and analyze the risk and prepare the risk management plan. Then management will take over that. Management will try to mitigate the risk. Okay. So risk management success will have lot of factors. Any risk management success will not happen by one person. It is a team job. So we need to integrate with the project management. That risk management we need to integrate with the project management. We have to integrate this plan. And every stakeholder will going to take care about the risk management plan. Then scale risk effort to project. Then organizational commitment. So organization should committed to manage the risk. Then recognize the value of risk management. Risk management is very important. We need to recognize the value. Otherwise, if you ignore the risk, then it will have a very bad impact on your projects. So open and honest communication should be there in organizations to mitigate it, because it's very important to express your thoughts in front of management if you identify a risk. Okay. So these are some points. Then types of risk. What are the types of risks? If you see there are majorly, if you see, there are two types. One is a business risk. Second is a pure risk. Business risk means possibility of gain or loss. Commercial point of view, you will have a loss, occur a loss or profit you will gain from some kind of a risk. Okay. So this is purely a business risk. So either it will be threat or a opportunity. If you are having a good profit, then definitely it is opportunity. If you have a loss, then it may be a threat. If you don't have kept a contingency, proper contingency amount in your budget, then that may be a threat. Okay. So pure risk or opportunity, actually pure risk is nothing but actually the risk which only contribute a loss. Risk due to suppose natural calamity, direct property damage if is there, then damage to equipment while transit, that is a pure risk. Due to calamity something happen, legal liability is there, then that is a pure risk we can count it. Okay. Then next is types of risk based on knowledge of risk level. Means risk levels, knowledge, what we have knowledge about that, whether we'll aware about that this will happen or we don't have idea about this risk. This earthquake comes suppose suddenly, so we'll not have idea. If suppose this is not earthquake zone, we never have experienced any earthquake, but suddenly it happens, suppose due to some tectonic plate movements. That is the unknown risk. We don't have idea, right? Knowledge about this. We have constructed the structure, suppose with a certain magnitudes, but beyond that magnitude, suppose earthquake occurs the first time. So we don't have knowledge, right? So based on the knowledge levels, what are the risk types? So there are three types of risk here: known risk, known unknown risk, and unknown risk. Known risk means we should have idea that risk will going to happen. Every year, suppose flood is coming in this area, we'll have known risk. So known unknown risk means knowledge of risk but uncertainty on influence. We have a knowledge about the risk. This risk may occur 5 years, once time in 5 years, but influence, whatever the uncertainty, we don't, sometimes there will not be any impact on your projects. Okay, if suppose in COVID-19 many projects outskirts of the city, they don't have any impact. They have very good, they have was running actually smoothly. Yes, certain impacts will be there, but as a timeline, as a time parameter is concerned, there will not be any impact in COVID-19. So next is known unknown. We don't have idea, like earthquake, never we have experience in this zone, even though it occurred. So it's an unknown risk, no awareness of risk, uncertainty on influence. Okay, so this is particular types of risk at the knowledge of risk level. Okay, then principles of concept. Two levels of project risks are there. At project level, two risk: individual risk, overall project risk. Individual risk means at project specific risk, affecting project objectives, affecting a timeline delay, timeline delivery of the project. Okay, and cost sometime. So overall project risk means effect of uncertainty on a project as a whole. For example, COVID-19 in the city, actually all projects stopped. This is the overall project risk, right? Then stakeholders' attitude. How the attitude of stakeholders, that is also important. Whether stakeholder is ready to accept the risk if risk occur, or he is transferring risk, or he is avoiding a risk. That is also we need to understand while doing a risk management plan. Then these are the principles and concepts. So risk management is an iterative process follow throughout the whole life cycle of project, because the risk involved at each and every step, from inception to final delivery, and also the final delivery also till the end of the life cycle of the project. Risk involved, and we need to prepare the plan accordingly. So effective and honest communication in the management among the stakeholder is an essential element in the risk management, because we need to convey the proper information. If we identify the risk, we need to convey the management. That is a very important point, first step, to identify the risk. Then only we are going to mitigate it. In future, we need to control it. Okay. So RACI model can be used to define the roles and responsibility. RACI means, R means here responsibility, A means accountability. Who is a responsible, who is a accountable, who is I means it is a C means it is a consult, I means inform, to whom we should, who is responsible for this, who is accountable for some risk, whom we need to consult, to whom you need to provide information. That data we need to prepare. Any risk occur, then who is accountable? So majorly actually project managers are accountable for any risk. Okay, project managers. Then next is accountables are the project managers. Responsibles are individual persons who is carrying out the particular task, who is managing the task. Who is responsible? The person will be responsible. Then consult means experts. Any consultant is there. Their opinion is very important. Then we need to consult it. Then inform means management, higher authority person. We need to inform about the risk. So that matrix we need to prepare while managing the risk. Then principles and concept. Any project manager, what are the roles of project manager in risk management? As part of risk management, what is the role of project managers? To encourage a senior project management team. Encourage senior management team, and they are seeking a support if any risk occur. Next is determine acceptable levels of risk. What are the risks we can accept at certain point of time? At any project level, some risk can be accepted, can be diluted. Then facilitate open and honest communication among all the stakeholders, also among all the team members. That is the role of project managers. Then apply contingency funds. If really actually if there is a risk, financial risk, then contingency, whatever the reserve, budget we need to apply, we need to implement, we need to use, consume. The next is a risk management processes. Already we have discussed then how to plan it. We have to first of all plan risk management, then we have to identify risk, then we need to analyze it in quantitative and qualitative analysis we need to do. Then we have to prepare the plan risk responses and then monitor and control the risk. This is a very important. Then plan risk management. Then plan risk management, if you see the risk management plan will be consisting of methodology, description of roles and responsibility, budgeting, timing. Then risk categories. What are the risk categories? Whether it is unknown known, known unknown, or known risk, based on the knowledge of risk levels. Also either it is a business risk or pure risk. Then we need to categorize risk. The definitions of risk, probability and impact. What are the probability and impact of risk that you need to identify? Then probability and impact matrix we need to prepare. Okay. Then revise stakeholders tolerance and reporting formats and trackings. So these are the elements involved in plan risk management. When we prepare the plan risk management, all these things should be involved. Okay. So in that risk management plan templates, if you preparing a risk management plan, so in that template, what are the factors involved? So first is a formal risk statement structure. What exactly risk is about, we need to write it. Then risk breakdown structure, how that risk can occur subsequently, what are the activities, if such activity happen, then this will be risk involved. So we need to break down the risk breakdown structure we need to write, we need to explain in that plan risk management. Then status report template. What is the now status, current status, the risk occurred or not, whether risk we are have been initiated or not, that we need to status, we need to maintain, to write. Then meeting agenda template means what are the meetings we have been carrying out to manage the risk. So that agenda, what will be the agenda if risk occur, that agenda also we need to mention in this. Then what is the definition of threat impact? If threat occur, then how we will define that threat, how we'll have actually knowledge about the threat, that we need to understand. And probability and impact matrix template, this need to prepare. Then plan risk management, here qualitative and quantitative analysis we need to carry out. So very low is, suppose risk is very low, then it should be suppose 0.1, very low suppose. So the event is unlikely to occur, 1% to 20% probability is there, then it's a very low kind of risk. Then is a low means 0.3, the event may occur 21% to 40%. Okay, 1 to 20% probability, the very low. Low means 21 to 40%. Then medium means the event is likely to occur 41% to 60%. High means 60 to 80%, 61 to 80%, and 80 to 100% is very high. So very low, low, medium, high, very high. So this is a category of probability, and the impact on the other side, impact. Suppose it is a very low, in same manner actually impact also can be counted. Impact against probability, we can prepare the matrix. Okay, and from that we will come to know how much quantitative actually analysis we can, quantitative analysis, this is how risk is bigger for our project, that we can identify. So this is about a risk, identify risks. So we need to first of all identify risk. How we identify risk? Any risk, how we identify? First of all, we identify risk by identify the cause. What is the root cause for that risk? You suppose if you observe any of project, suppose sliding, nearby structure, you suppose there is a risk of landslides. So this is the first indication. Identify. So what is the root cause? Soil is a very low. Soil is with a very good bad quality. Suppose soil is a very soft. So this is the one root. What is the root cause of that? Why it is happening? So landsliding is going to happen because soil stability is not good. Okay, then this is a risk for us, right? It can be slide. It will hamper our project's objectives. This is our risk. So what is the effect? This cause sliding. What is the risk? It can hamper our project. Then what is the effect? It will have a very bad impact on projects. If damages or property damages or project damages because of landsliding, we will have financial threat. That is our effect. So we need to understand cause, what is the risk involved, and what is the effect. That we need to understand overall. So we need to perform qualitative and quantitative analysis. First of all, perform qualitative risk analysis. Qualitative means purpose and objective of process is prioritize the list. Assess and evaluate characteristics of individual identify risks. And qualitative risk analysis is done throughout the project life cycle. Qualitative means probability. What is a probability? We'll understand the probability of risk. Qualitative risk analysis is used to determine the risk exposure of the project by multiplying the probability and impact. A risk exposure of project by multiplying the probability and impact. So we need to actually prepare the matrix. And this is qualitative. So in qualitative analysis, there are steps involved. First is select a risk characteristic. We need to select a risk characteristic, means how much risk, we need to scale the risk. So if this happens, probability is this, then we can see it is a low risk probability. As explained earlier, low, very low, low, then medium, high, very high. So this is a characteristic. Then collect and analyze the data. Then prioritize risk, categorize risk, causes, and document results. What are the results will be there? In qualitative analysis, actually low, medium, high. Impact versus probability, we prepare the matrix. Whether if it is a low impact and low probability is there, then probability accept, because we have a very low probability and low impact. So we can ignore it. We can ignore means we can avoid it. Will not have much major impact. If suppose it is a medium probability, okay, medium probability and medium suppose impact is there, so we need to mitigate, means plan how the actions we are going to take. That is depends on the probability and impact matrix. If it's very high suppose impact and high probability, then we have to must mitigate. We must mitigate it, otherwise we'll have a very bad impact on your project. Threats will be there. So accordingly, actually this qualitative analysis we carried out. Next is quantitative analysis. Quantitative analysis is done majorly by calculations, by quantifying the risks. With risk is equal to probability of occurrence into impact. What is the probability of occurrence? We decide the ranges. So such things happens, probabilities happens, so that much impact will be there. So we need to prepare the matrix based on the probability and impact. So most common technique used are sensitivity analysis and decision tree analysis. By these both the techniques, we use a quantitative risk analysis. Okay. So sensitivity analysis is referred as a what if analysis. Generally, sensitivity analysis is a quantitative risk assessment of how changes in the specific model variables impacts the output of the model. It is also key result of Monte Carlo simulation of project schedules. So sensitivity, exactly how we calculate sensitivity. If suppose cost, there is a risk of increase of cost. Suppose it is 100 rupees, material is 100 rupees per unit actually cost is there. It will have a impact. Sometimes risk is there, the prices will increase from 100 to 150, suppose 50 rupees increases immediately. So what is the sensitivity? 1 additional 200, sensitivity 1 additional 50 rupees now additional, suppose 1000 units we are preparing. Suppose so 1000 units we are base price is there, okay, $1 per unit price is there. So $1 per unit is total 2000, right? Means transportation $1 and $1 is suppose for that particular material. So $2,000 will going to cost. But since it is 1 additional 200 plus 20% $1, so it is $2,400. 2 labor 1.5 rupees, total 2,500 rupees. Monte Carlo simulation is a computerized mathematical techniques that allows the people to account for risk in quantitative analysis and decision making. Monte Carlo simulations furnishes the decision makers with a range of possibility outcomes. Okay. So qualitative analysis basically has two methodologies. One is a decision tree analysis. Okay, decision tree analysis, and second is sensitivity analysis. Sensitivity analysis is a quantitative risk assessment of how changes in specific model variables impact the output of the model. And second is a decision tree analysis. We suppose AC, if we AC decision tree analysis, the lowest cost case is the process AD and should be first choice. Okay. So plan risk responses. How the risk responses we need to prepare. What preparing risk response, it is important to consider few factors. So for preparing a responses, what are the factors we need to take into consideration is stakeholders' attitude. We need to understand what is the client's attitude towards risk. If risk happen, client will going to take responsibility. Based on that, we need to prepare responses. Next is stakeholders' conventions, stakeholders' assumptions, and stakeholders' constraints. These are the factors we need to consider while preparing a risk responses. The objective of this process is to determine a set of actions which enhances the chances of project success while complying with the organization and project constraints. Objective is to process. Objective of this process to determine the set of actions which enhances the chances of project success. What are the project objectives we have set? How we can achieve it in right way, structured way. Okay, that is the basic objective of this project. Then potential changes to project objectives should be considered while planning for risk responses. Potential changes to project objectives should be considered. If we need to think whether it will impact our project objectives or what will be the impact. It will be a high impact or low impact, we need to consider while preparing responses. So this is the basically second last stage. So based on that actually responses, we need to also prepare a strategies for threat. If there is a threat is there, negative impact is there, then we need to prepare the strategies for that. Whether we have to avoid it, whether we need to accept it, or whether we need to transfer it to some other stakeholders, or whether we need to accept it, mitigate it. Means strategies for threat to avoid, transfer, mitigate or accept. Okay, we have to make strategy whether we need to accept it, avoid it, mitigate it or transfer it. So based on that responses, we need to prepare the strategy. Okay, so next is, I think, plan risk responses. This is actually the same process. What are the steps involved in plan risk responses? One is a plan risk responses. We need to identify responses, select responses, all risk addressed. If we address, yes, then plan and resource actions. We need to take actions. No, suppose no, identify risk, no, then we have to update a project management risk plan. Project management plan we have to update. And predicted exposure accepted. Then review, we have to review it, predicted residual exposures, and then update a risk register. Okay, means we have to update always a plan risk resource responses. Plan risk responses. Then how to control the risk? The preliminary prerequisite of control risk processes are tracking, identifying risk, monitoring residual risk, identifying a new risk, ensuring a risk responses plans are implemented, then monitoring the evidence effectiveness of risk responses plans. So how to control risks? This is also very important topic. Control risk is a very important topic. So we can control the risk by tracking, identify a risk. Whatever the risk we identify in project, we have to track the status of that risk every time. Then monitor residual risk. We have to closely monitor what will happen, what is happening now. Risk is approaching or risk already is there now. How we can make it, mitigate it, or whether we can transfer it. So we have to monitor. Then identify new risk. If there is a new risk involved because of that occurrence of first risk, there is a new risk that we need to understand. Then ensuring the risk responses plans are implemented. Whatever the plan responses, risk plan responses we have been prepared, we are implementing in a proper way. Monitor the effectiveness of risk responses plans. Whatever the responses we prepared, okay, we need to monitor it effectiveness, whether it results oriented responses or not. Otherwise we need to update the plan responses. Okay, so in such a way that we can control the risk in our project, also in our personal life also. If any risk there, we can manage the risk with the help of these processes. So and also in that, effective communication among the stakeholders, among the team members is very important to manage the risk. Otherwise every individual person is supposed not involving in risk management. There is no open and honest communication among the team members, then risk cannot be identified at the first stage. We cannot analyze it properly. So effective and honest communications among the stakeholders is very important. So this is a continuous activity actually. Risk, we have to identify, we have to analyze it, we have to prepare the plan responses, we have to monitor and control. Okay, so this is a continuous. Risk will come and we need to tackle, we need to address it. Okay, with the help of this process. So major risk management is, what is the objective is to avoid the barriers in our construction activity. Whatever the barriers are, these are the risks are barriers. It may hamper our projects, and because of that, risk audit has to be there for each and every project. It should be conducted by a third party, a project risk auditor or qualified personnel. Risk audit need to be conducted to control the risk. This is one of the best actually process for controlling the risk. So these are about the risk managements. So in such a way that risk at a project levels can be managed with the help of these techniques. And by implementing these procedures, what are the risk management procedures we have been explained, it is a widely used and globally used, implemented, because this process is set by experts by analyzing the different situations in logical way. They have prepared these procedures. If you implement these procedures, the risk can be addressed in proper way, and we are able to achieve our project objectives. And this is the main objective. To achieve our project objective is the main objective of any profession. So this is about the risk management. So thank you very much. Thank you very much for thank you very much. We'll meet next time with a new competency we'll cover. Thank you very much.